All right, I gotta ask this one because the people on the forums will kill me if I don't. But what's
Sure.
going on with Kitakami?
What's going on with what? With Kitakami?
Kit, Kitakami. When can we get Kitakami back?
As far as I'm concerned, please never again. But but I know that there are people, of course, who want this ship, and yeah, and it's a very unique ship, very cool ship. At the same time, it's a very very dangerous tool
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
have in the toolbox. And as in every superhero movie, they say that this weapon cannot fall into the wrong hands. So I'm pretty
Wasn't
sure.
it Danny who said that that statistically when we'd released it initially there were more team kills than actual like enemy kills on it?
Yes, that's what Danny said, and he said that because it's true, actually. So
Yes.
this ship will for sure make an appearance sometime in the future. You can count on it that when it does, it will be available only for very high skill players, let's say, either as a reward for some kind of contest or yeah, or something else. We don't know yet.
So not for 100 doubloons in the tech tree.
No, for sure not. It will never be on sale.
Speaking of things that are also coming up in the future, I know we've talked about ranked a bit and team battles, but there has been, of course, a lot of questions about what's going on with ranked and what things were changing. I know we've been in the midst of discussion on how things for season five are going to go, but can you talk about what we're thinking in terms of evolving ranked battles at the moment?
Um, so we're kind of going back to the drawing board for both ranked and for team battles. Team battles more extensively because we are not actively running any seasons of that. So it's basically back for let's not say full redesign, but for an upgrade that it sorely needs. Um, and but that upgrade was likely not going to be finished until the end of the year. As for ranked, we also are kind of looking at the back of our heads for ways how to make significant changes to this mode to basically revamp it. But at the same time, we're also um, happy with running seasons in the framework that we have now, just with different settings each time. It's basically, and I don't want to say it's an experimental mode, but let's say that we're happy with experimenting with different seasonal settings for each region and for each season to see like what is the best choice for each region. Because the most interesting part about ranked is not the general perception of the community when it was released and how people like it, but the differences between each region and what they consider acceptable for this format that we have right now. And those differences are actually pretty significant between the regions. So we're actually not quite sure how it will evolve, um, like into its ultimate form, let's say. But if I was to design the this mode, then I would merge it with team battles. But I know that part of the team disagrees with me, so I will leave the designing up to the designers. And yeah, and we'll see what comes out of that.
I think people are definitely going to be really excited to see when rank comes back because I know there's a few changes we've already discussed that I think will be definitely well received. But I think you make a great point though that it's going to be an ongoing evolution, and we're going to see what the best kind of format is, and we're going to still keep kind of playing with the features until we feel we're happy with it.
Until at least until the we decide to make like a major step with redesigning it, because you also have to kind of think of it this way that you can only do major changes so many times to a different mode. It wouldn't do for us to like have a major redesign of this mode every year. That's bullshit. We shouldn't be doing that. But you know, taking things back to the drawing board until once they're released and doing like one upgrade when we say, okay, we saw what was wrong from our point of view in this mode, what we didn't like. Now we've improved the experience. Now we're fine with it. Here's the redesigned mode, and the rest is basically tweaking. Tweaking is fine, but doing major redesigns too many times just means that we don't know how to do it. We should just scrap it. So yeah, so for sure we're gonna evolve it. I hope we're gonna evolve it once, and then it'll like be a good competitive mode with bring that brings good experience to players.
Yeah, I mean, part of we're talking about regional differences and things like that. One of the questions I see that of course got asked at Gamescom, and I see all the time is, why don't we synchronize our launch dates for different events and different ships between regions? If, sometimes the players don't understand why we do this, and I think there are some really legitimate good reasons why we do this. So I don't know if you can go into that real quick.
So that's one of my favorite topics because it's I read feedbacks from most of the forums, or actually all of the forums right now, and that's something that I read like at every launch, at every patch. Is these comments come up saying that there is regional bias. Now I don't understand the thinking behind that at all. Why would that be regional bias? I mean, um, for patch releases, of course, we try to give people the same content at the same time, and we generally succeed. It's off by a few hours, and the reason for that is very simple. Just because we have one deployment team and we have 5 servers, so we need to deploy them one by one. So we generally do it one by one, starting with the US and then going on to Asia, Russia, and Europe. So, but I don't think that's a major issue. But then most people comment on getting premium ships at different times. Um, now, from my point of view, that's like a weird statement because I see no reason why any ship should be released at any region at a specific time. I mean, why would an American ship be released in America first? Just because it's American? What's the reason for us to do that? I mean, there is no legitimate business reason for us to do that, and it's not because we disrespect people. Uh, because I can't even think of the reason why, how that would be disrespectful. I mean, sure, you guys built the original, but hey, we're running this as a game. We're releasing content, and yeah, and we just release it when it has the most impact for us. Let's say, or
Well, I
when
think
it's
there's no reason to get happy about excluding other people from fun, right? I mean, that's kind of the core of it. Is that we there's no benefit to the U.S. to having a U.S. ship first because we every other region gets is gonna play with it as well and have fun and also be on a totally different server, have a different experience with it. So it's yeah, I agree.
yeah,
It's an
and
interesting choice.
the point to make here is that obviously it's not like we purposely release something on one region and then don't release it on another. When we do release stuff, it's mostly like a question of a few days between the availability start. Sometimes it can be more than that, it can be up to a few weeks, but then usually there's a legitimate reason for us as a business to do that. And I know that some people can call us out on it because they're waiting for it, but that's how it is in life. You just wait for something, then when it comes, you're happy. And it's not a malicious choice from our end, it's just how businesses are run.
Well, you take example of the German BBs. A lot of people obviously were like, "Oh, we wanted to see them on public test, but we were announcing them at Gamescom. We wanted to let people play them there." And so sometimes there are bigger events that are globally shaping how we're releasing this stuff. And I think we all understand that there is a value when we can do something huge like a Gamescom or at a special event or try and capitalize on one moment somewhere. And so that's why sometimes the schedules get a little bit wonky too.
Yeah, and this is not something that's going to change. So we're not going to unify premiumship releases across regions. Well, what we can promise is that in general, those releases will not be, displaced by more than a few days. In general, I mean. Yeah, this is not malicious from our side.
Well, you said the golden word, unified. So, what's going on with unified accounts?
Not much actually. There are two things about unified accounts. Um, Company management really wants to do them, and at a development level, it's really hard to do them because we have different projects running different economies and we have different currencies, and it's yeah, it's not, let's say, it's not good for us to kind of rush into that kind of change, because basically it would disrupt our economy very heavily if we allow the direct transferring of either premium currency or free experience from tanks as they are now with people who've been playing them for more than 5 years. So it's a never-ending work in progress, and there's not much that I can say about that. But yeah, that's how it is.
I just want to let everyone know, so because I just wanted to ask this question so everyone knows when I go on the forums and say, "Hey guys, we're still trying to figure it out. There's a lot of discussion and we're still going back and forth." That I'm not lying and I'm not going crazy. There is still a discussion going on, and we have not finalized what's going on with that.
Yes, actually,
Unfortunately.
yeah. There's more than a discussion going on, and it'll
All right.
never
Well,
end.
yeah, I think unfortunately, that's going to be a topic we'll have to revisit again in the future, and we won't get any sort of final clarity on that for a while, guys. Sorry.
Well,
But let's. Sorry, go ahead.
just let me say one thing. That being said, we're also working on um, some stuff related to the premium shop. So that's kind of a milestone that we're working towards, where maybe we'll get more clarity on the kind of unified account issue when that's done. Can't really say too much about that sort of stuff, but there are certain milestones that may make this decision or progress in this matter easier to explain or to get in the
Mhm.
future.
Yeah, absolutely. Fingers crossed. We'll get some more clarity on that, and we'll get some sort of finalized stuff in the not so distant future. But fingers crossed. Can I see the armor for all ships in the client, like all in the tech tree, or just the ones I've unlocked? Like, for instance, I'm only up to tier 5 American cruisers. Can I see what the Cleveland is, or do I have to unlock the Cleveland to see the
Oh,
actual armor?
you mean through the upcoming armor viewer?
Correct.
Yes, it's gonna work for all the ships, regardless of whether you have them or not.
And
So,
what about for premium ships that maybe aren't in the tech tree?
so if it's not in the client in the tech tree, then you won't be able to click on it and use the armor viewer. But for
So
everything that's inside of the client, either if you own it but it's not in the tech tree, or or it is in the tech tree but you don't own it, you can see those.
if you could change just one thing right now in World of Warships, what is your one thing you could change that you feel would have the biggest impact?
Oh man, I want to change so
You get
many things.
one.
Yeah,
You get one. That's it.
that's always the killer question, to choose one thing. Jesus. Um, I would for sure make more interactions in the game mechanics. So that's actually something that's one of my dreams for World of Warships, is to have more than the one general interaction that we have right now. Um,
What do you mean by that? I think some people might not understand what you mean by one interaction. You're talking about that basically I've got one verb to fire at my friends.
um, no, I mean the fact that in the current game, which kind of, let's say, closely resembles an FPS game, we only do one thing. We trade damage with people. So this is the only interaction that we have right now, only direct interaction between players.
Hmm.
Obviously, there are different other interactions that are indirect, like, for example, setting smoke for your allies. Um, that's also an interaction between players, but it's not direct. It's not something that's embedded in um, the mechanics where one thing is directly caused by one player and affects another player, especially numerically speaking. Um, so the only thing you can do, if you like go down to the basics of each and every action that you take in the game, it leads you to dealing damage somehow. and that's fine on one hand because it makes the game like incredibly well rounded because all of the mechanics are geared towards facilitating one thing. But because of that, it also leads um, to balancing issues on one hand because everything needs to be balanced around the ability of your ship to deal that damage. Um, and it kind of means that we are limited in terms of the variety of stuff that we can do and we can give people because whatever we do, then it will become either a cosmetic thing that doesn't do anything, so the only other thing that it can do is look pretty, or it needs to be also geared towards facilitating that one thing, which is dealing damage. So if we could develop more interactions between players that are not dealing damage, but also are embedded within the game's economy and that function within the game's mechanics. So, so you, I don't know how, let's say you have an ability that does something to either enemy or ally, and that something is not damage, but directly, it directly comes from you as a player and goes directly to them as a player. Then that would allow us both to have more variety in the game in terms of what you can do, as well as potentially allow us to have more choices how to balance things because we could then walk away a bit from the necessity to deal damage. So that's
Yeah,
it's kind of a big thing, right?
yeah, definitely not small. And we've been talking about, and I saw just browsing through some of the questions at Gamescom here. I saw that again that spotting. Obviously, that's not quite the exact thing you're talking about. But that's part of it, right? I mean, giving people to do those kind of support actions, being able to, not just focus on dealing damage, but then enable their team to deal more damage. It's kind of like a healer in World of Warcraft or whatever, right? They don't directly deal damage, but they're there to enable damage continuously.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what I just talked about. Those support actions, we will anyway include them into the game's economy very soon. Um, it won't change much in terms of how people behave in the game because it won't necessarily change their gameplay. So still, they will be doing the same things as they're doing now. Instead of a battle, they will be trying to deal damage to enemies, and the rest of their actions are mostly geared towards personal survival. Very rarely it happens that people actually play for the team. Mostly role players like me, who kind of see some sort of abstract value in that, even though the game does not numerically, incentivize it. Um, but having more interactions would actually also give you more of those options, even more, and it would be incentivized by the game. So yeah, so doing the economy split for support actions, that's kind of also a small step on the way to that, but it's not that giant leap towards moving away from having to damage everything to actually win the game.
What are some of your favorite nicknames for ships in the game you've seen on the forums? Someone asked me this, and I totally blanked, but there are a ton of good ones.
Um, favorite nicknames? Well, Troll Spite for Warspite.
I haven't heard that one. I
Yeah,
like I like Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme and Death Pickle were the ones I remembered that were pretty good.
Death Pickle. Which one's that?
That's the Iwaki Alpha was the Death Pickle because remember in the beginning it was the only one with a green camo for a long
Oh, okay. I never heard that one before.
time.
Yeah, there we have Pepsi Cola. That's the
Pepsi Cola is good.
obvious one. Um, what else was there? Um, now we have Baguette for Dunkirk.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I heard that in Super Test. Le Baguette.
Le Beckett.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of blanking out right now as well. There are a few good ones as well. I just don't remember them.
I know. As soon as they ask you that question, you go, "Oh, there's like seven amazing ones," and I can't remember any of them.
Exactly.
Crap.
There's Gremlin for Grimiashi.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
there's a
don't
couple ones
remember.
that are the only ones that came to mind are the ones that are incredibly inappropriate that I probably can't say. So,
Yeah, there's a few of those as well.
But let's see. I had one more fun question for you. Oh yeah. So is the ocean wet? Is a question you seemed to be confused on last time I asked you. Did you resolve this?
No, dude, I still don't understand what the gist of this question is. Like, is it a reference to something? What the hell do you guys mean by this?
Well, you think about it like a martini. It could be dry.
Uh, Ask me again in a year. I think this will be the comeback topic for us.
Okay, sounds good. All right, man. Well, I don't have anything else to ask you right now, but thank you again, Archer, for coming out and answering some of these questions. But yeah, thanks again for joining us.
Sure, anytime, man. I'm happy to talk to the community, and whenever you guys have any questions or any topics you want to discuss, feel free to contact me. And yeah, as I mentioned, I'll probably be doing like short videos myself as well to talk about significant like community topics. So yeah, so we'll talk in the future as well.
Awesome. I can't wait to see those videos.
Yeah, so yeah, same for me.